Now, having said all of this, next, what are the tips? What are the tips for writing good English articles? And here are my 10 tips for writing and publishing academic papers in English. First, take a joint venture approach. That means you need to team up with other people rather than work totally on your own. Second, look for controversial points. That means if you study something everybody knows, there is no point. You need to study something everybody has an opinion or have arguments. And then when you study, people will be interested. Third, write serial articles. That means you write articles like a novel. It's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. So it's called serial articles, like chapters. Number 4, attend conferences and network. That means when you thrive in your academia or in your fields, you need to connect to different people. And the best way of connecting or networking is attend conferences. And you'll find people who share the same interest or same passion, and you can work together. Fifth, chair conferences for professional recognition. That means in the beginning, you're a small potato in the field, you go to different conferences. As you gradually establish yourself, you become a big cow. A big cow. And then you can organize conferences and people will come to you. And this will give you more opportunities for joint venture, for cooperation, and your publications will thrive accordingly. 6, look for big cow's help tactfully. We all want to get big guy or big cow to help us, but you need to do this tactfully, and we'll be talking this later, but you have to keep this in mind. 7th, let others proofread your papers. After you finish the paper, please get someone to read for you, because you do not see your problems. Even simple mistakes, you will not see after you read or write your own paper for more than 10 times. You become desensitized of your ability to detect errors. So you get other people to proofread for you. They will not only find spelling mistakes, lexical mistakes, they'll also find some fundamental errors in your arguments that you do not become aware. 8th, invite colleagues to read your papers. Now, this is like something hard to do, because not just to get people to proofread, that's easy, but invite to give opinions. Your colleagues may be busy, but if your friendship is strong enough, you can get people to help you. You can even work together. Invite a person to become an author as well, to become co-author. And this will increase your opportunity of getting paper accepted. 9th, having a hot and cooling process for writing. Hot, by being hot, I mean you keep on writing. Even though you write a lot of redundant sentences. But after you finish writing, you need to cool it down, leave it a while. And then when you come back to look at your writing, you can find problems after some time. You will not be able to find the problems immediately. And in this, that's why I say in Chinese, 热胀冷缩. You need to have this hot process for successive writing, continue writing. You need to have the coding process for finding its problems. And then lastly, 10th, answer the so what question. The so what question is like, so what? You think your paper is so good, but when you stand outside from your perspective, it's just normal, it's ordinary, not as exciting as you imagine. So you need to step inside, outside of your thinking. And then you can be self-critical. Otherwise, you write something you think is terribly important, but in the reviewer's mind or the editor's mind, it's not that important. When you constantly do this self-critiquing or self-critical, you have the self-criticalness, you will sharp your writing, particularly your questions, a lot more. Having said all of this, I want to give you some examples that I have over the past. First, I want to use this photo, and with this guy on my right. His name is Jackie, and he's my longest colleague and collaborator. We collaborated for more than 20 years. And together we published 32 English articles, 3 English books, 21 Chinese articles, and 2 Chinese books. So whenever I think of something, I always think of my friend. I want to invite him to join me because we can really help each other. We really enjoy working together. So I hope you will gradually identify and cultivate such a working partner in your unit or across different institutions. You will enjoy such a friendship. Now, this is Jiang Feng. He's my doctoral student. And we published many papers together. And in the beginning, he did not know how to publish. I have to give him a personal writing workshop. So I would ask him to write a paper. I would just revise. And after many rounds of revision, the paper is ready for submission. And after it's submitted, he got a sense of accomplishment. And then we do second paper, and we sat together at my office and revise. And the second paper was submitted and was accepted. And then we have the third paper, and we sat at our office, and we revise. And then he's on his own. Later on, I don't have to do that much revision. We just talk some ideas, and he is able to write. So I gave him this personal coaching, 量身定做 for him. So basically, my students all get this kind of training. And here is my friend. He's called Michael Bender. Michael. And we met, and we really developed a good friendship. And we talk about things we can help each other. And he would do some data collection for me. And when I write a paper, I'd invite him to become a co-author. And he would do something and invite me to become co-author. And we keep on collaborating. He's currently working in Holland. He's a professor there. And I want you to pay special attention to this photo. The person on my left is called Ottavio Salvatore. And he is the editor of Humor Research. And I submitted my articles to his journal. And where we met at one of the conferences. And I presented a little gift. I attended his talk. And later on, we scheduled a meeting. And talked about some of my works. And I want to see how much opportunity I may have my works published on the journal. And I brought my paper and invited for his opinion. Normally, if I write an email to him, he will not respond. He's too busy. But we are sitting together over lunch. It's a lot more friendly to talk about the issue. So one conversation earned me 3 publications on the journal. And this is called networking. So you go to conferences will give you the opportunities to meet all these big cows or big guys in the field, or big coffee or big cow, or Chinese 大咖也好，大牛也好。And then you build up your friendship. You may eventually co-publish papers together, but to state the least, you look for opportunities of publication on the journal, or even his opinions. He can help you. Okay, next I want to share with you some of my publication stories. This is my first publication at a conference, and this is in 1989, last century. I started publishing. Well, this is a conference. I went to a conference. I wrote something for the conference. So it's very encouraging. I learned I have to have the mind to publish. You need to grab opportunity. I need to have the mind to network, because if I publish, where do I publish? I need to get to know the people in the field. I need to get the people's opinions or even advice. I need to have the mind to learn, because the right is a new skill for me. At the time, I was a doctoral student at Harvard University, and I have to publish, either in Chinese or in English. And that's a new trick to learn. And then finally, I need to have the mind to try. It's not that you publish immediately. It's not like you submit a paper, you get an acceptance immediately. I cite it as my first publication is humble, it's simple, but it's the beginning. As we say in Chinese, a long journey starts with the first step at the moment. 千里之行，始于足下. Step by step, you make your gradual progress. This is my first article published on a reputable journal. It's called International Journal of Behavioral Development. And the article is about idol worship in Chinese society. Now, what I learned from this? Look for special issue. Why my paper was accepted? Because I have a friend that I know through a conference, and he's organizing a special issue on Chinese youth, and he's looking for studies on Chinese idol worship. And he said, "Hey, Xiaodong, do you have an article to contribute? I'm organizing a special issue." Ha! What a good news! I tried so hard to submit the manuscript to different journals. I got a rejection. And here, I got an invitation. You know the difference? By invitation, basically, your article is accepted. You just have to keep on revising. But by rejection, forget it. Or submission, you never know whether paper would be good luck. So, you just have to look for such opportunities. Later on, I myself organized other special issues myself. I'm the editor for the issue. I invite people to contribute to my special issue for a specific journal. Next, you need a network for opportunities. You do not work alone in your office. Our students, particularly university students, learn from the past. Count on yourself, work on yourself. You go to the university you will study for via the college entrance examination, because you work on items, you work on problem sets on your room. You do not share with others. Eventually, they may do better than you. So you don't share with others. That's only for high school. When you get into university, particularly when you become a graduate student or become a young colleague, you need to work with others. You need to share. And thirdly, again, attend to conference. I came to know this friend because I go to conference We exchanged cards, and he remembered me, and he invited me to contribute an article. And she invited me twice. Another time, she also invited me to publish an article, which I have struggles getting accepted in the past. She's like my fortune star. This is my favorite article on creativity, which I described earlier. It's called a meritorious evaluation bias. Okay. How Chinese undergraduates perceive Chinese and foreign creators. Now, what is reflections from writing this article? Strive for theoretical novelty. In the beginning, you just do some empirical study, but gradually, you need to do study with a theory. The theory is your own theory. We all are trying to develop our own theory, but the theory has to be sound, has to be well thought, well constructed. So this is like a concept I would propose. It's called a meritorious evaluation bias, and I come a dichotomizing pose. One is meritorious salience, that means merit-based judgment. The other is aesthetic salience, that means novelty or arts-oriented salience. So how Chinese people look at creativity or judge creativity, you could either look at the merit or you look at the novelty. So this is like how I look for cultural differences, for educational differences, how this influences how we look at creativity and creators. And the second reflection is engage in serial studies. That means one study after another. So when you do serial studies and when you publish serial papers, the editors are more willing to accept because he's looking for your new findings, your new contribution. This is just like you presented chapter 1, you presented chapter 2, you presented chapter 3, and people are looking forward to chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6. Give an example. Here is my serial articles. Chapter 1 is about whoever is influential is creative, and how Chinese undergraduate students choose creative people in Chinese societies. I have studies from Hong Kong, Guangzhou, Taipei, Beijing, and I compare the differences. Very interesting. That's chapter 1. In this article, I will look at how people, the Chinese people, look at creativity via nomination of creative individuals or creators. Okay, that's chapter 1. People start to pay attention to my study. Later on, I get on chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about which Chinese creators are famous and why. So this gives us theoretical exploration. This is actually, I would come up with the meritorious evaluation bias. And chapter 3. And chapter 3 is who are the best known national and foreign creators. So it's no longer just about the perception of creativity in Chinese society or creators in Chinese society. It's about China comparing with people in other countries, particularly in the West. And this is chapter 4. Chapter 4 is not only about creativity, it's about humor. It's the perception of the humorists across cultural study. In Hong Kong, Hangzhou, and Vancouver. And this is chapter 5. And then chapter 5 is about whoever is influential is successful as well. So in the beginning I said whoever is influential is creative. Now whoever is influential is successful as well. So it's the merit, social influence that people really care for the Chinese. Now it's a simple study. You may not even care, but I'm telling you, I wrote 5 chapters. I'm continuing to write new chapters, chapter 7, chapter 8. I hope you're keeping this in mind in your own publications. If you can frame or present your findings in chapter approach, you will become a lot more appealing to the audience, to the readers. The next advice I want to give you is give a good title. You can do this by using a famous sentence. First, to be and not to be humorous. Where do I got this? I got this from Shakespeare's novel, Hamlet. To be and not to be, that is question. So when I wrote to be and not to be humorous, the editor liked my title because it posed a real question, a philosophical question, a cultural question for the Chinese. Another good try is that using a famous lyric, a song lyric. From this article, I wrote, idols are sunshine or road signs. Sunshine. You're my sunshine, my only sunshine. So that's the song lyric. Now I can use this for my title of my article, The Idol Worship. In fact, that's another area I studied a lot. So I use this, people will know. Good. And also rhyme together. Sunshine, a road sign. And of course, you can also use a famous novel, a famous book. For instance, I wrote this article, I said earlier, whoever is influential is creative, whoever is influential is successful. Where it's coming from? It's come from this novel. Whoever hears you, hears me. See? So having said all of this, you will know it is important to think like a native speaker, and then your writing will become a lot more appealing. You will establish your own academic voice.